For 10,000 years, the ice held, locked inside glaciers, frozen into the permafrost beneath Siberia, Alaska, and the Arctic tundra. Billions of tons of water suspended, waiting. Then we began warming the planet, slowly at first, then all at once. The permafrost, ground that had been frozen for millennia, began to thaw. As it did, it released carbon and methane sealed inside it for thousands of years. More greenhouse gases, more heat, more thaw. A loop with no easy exit. When ice melts, the water goes somewhere. It goes into the oceans. Global sea levels have been rising, but not steadily. The rate is accelerating. What took a century to rise in the 1900s is now happening in decades. The projections we made 10 years ago were too conservative. The water is coming faster than we planned for. By the middle of the century, hundreds of millions of people living in the coastal cities face a simple, brutal reality. The ground beneath their feet will be underwater. This is not a distant problem confined to small island nations. The cities at risk are among the largest, most populated, most economically vital places on earth. Mumbai, Shanghai, Miami, Dhaka, Lagos, Bangkok, each one sitting at or near sea level, each one already experiencing what planners quietly called managed retreat, the slow, difficult process of accepting that parts of these cities will not survive. But no city makes the coming crisis more visible or more urgent than Jakarta. The city isn't just facing rising seas, it's thinking. Years of groundwater extraction have caused parts of North Jakarta to drop by up to 25 centimeters annually. Sea walls built for protection now sit below the waterline. Moving 42 million people off sinking ground required more than a new location. It required a new kind of city altogether. The answer was vertical. The sea didn't destroy the city, it reorganized it into a system where survival is guaranteed, but only for as long as you remain legible, compatible, and worth covering. By the 2050s, it is complete, and everyone is inside the structure. The stack. The stack is not run by any government, it is run by insurers. The rules you live under, where you can go, what job you can hold, what your home is worth, all these are not laws, they are terms and conditions written by insurance corporations. The government exists, technically, but inside the stack, it has almost no power. No elections, no ballot boxes, no real way to appeal. It looks like a building, it functions like a government, but it answers to the people who calculate your risk and not to you. The stack is divided into three bands, and the band you live in is not chosen, it is assigned based on one thing: what risk your body carries and what it can be made to withstand. At the bottom are the lowered bands. This is where the structure meets the ground, closest to the floodwater, toxic air, and the noise of everything that keeps the tower running. The people here are laborers, logistic workers, factory hands. Their bodies are modified not for comfort but for survival. Lung filters to breathe the air, exoskeletons to carry the load, heat regulators to work near the machinery. There is no quiet apartments. Apartments are small, shared, and functional. This is the largest population in the stack, and it has the least. Above that are the middle bands. The air is cleaner, the corridors are wider. People here are administrators, technicians, mid-level professionals. Neural links are common, some required for the jobs, other won't because falling behind means falling down. The apartments are modest but private. Life here is stable, managed, predictable, not comfortable enough to feel secure, but comfortable enough to feel like there is something to lose. At the top, the upper band, separate elevators, separate air systems, open floor plans, natural light panels, and greenery. The people here are executives, senior engineers, the medically optimized. Enhancements here are not about surviving the environment. The environment has already been made safe for them. Enhancements here are about advantage, genome edits, cognitive upgrades, longevity treatments. The distance from the lower bands is not just floors, it is entirely different version of what it means to be alive inside the structure. Between each band, transition floors act like border checkpoints, scanning your body, your contracts, your modifications. Movement is possible, but contracts, depth, and bundled packages, your job, your home, your healthcare tied together in one agreement keep most people locked in place for years. But there is something the residents of the lower and middle bands don't know. The modifications keeping them alive, the implants, the neural links, the regulators are also watching them. Every output is tracked, every emotional state is monitored and quietly, subtly managed. Fatigue muted, anger flattened, the impulse to question is suppressed. They work, they function, they produce, and they repeat, never realizing what has been taken from them. The sedation doesn't feel like control, it feels like stability. This is the system working exactly as designed.